here on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Kojo Akoto Boating. I'm here with Winston and Blizzard, and we've been joined by our guest today to kickstart the whole Sustainability Month conversation. Our guest is a lecturer at the University of Ghana Institute of Environment and Institute for Environment and Sanitation Studies, including sustainability. His name is Dr. Tedney Yemoh Annang. Good morning, Doc. Welcome to the Sustainability Month.
Good morning, Kojo, and good morning to Winston. Good morning to all the cherished listeners. And let me start by commending Joy FM on this wonderful attempt to bring sustainability to the doorsteps of everybody. Because to me, we have, if I say failed, no, we have not tried enough to look at the history, the evolution of sustainability till now. And if we would not only keep the SDGs as pictures on walls, but would have brought them down to earth, because everything that is mentioned in that framework is very important to our lives as a people. So thank you very much for having me, and probably getting to the end, I'll make a recommendation. So don't forget.
Great to have you here. And I like what you said, that we need to lift the SDGs as pictures on walls and on book covers into actionable goals which we can work on. But we've been talking about sustainability. In the business circles, when people say sustainability, we are largely looking at business continuity, right? But generally, when we say sustainability in a global context, life, humanity's continuity and everything, what really is sustainability?
Thank you. Sustainability is continuity. And simply put, it's the ability to maintain or support all the spheres of our lives, economic, environmental, social processes over time. So what does it mean? It means that, people quickly jump to sustainable development. But that's where it has ended, if you follow the evolution. So it comes from this morning. I was listening to the word of the day, despite. Sustainability comes from the word sustain, that's to maintain.
Okay.
So if you want to maintain, what does that mean? If you are developing, if you are progressing, you get to a level. If you cannot increase that level or go above that level, what do you try to maintain? So that is sustainability. And if you follow the history, civilizations, for most of the civilizations began from or by or about water bodies. So if they were treating the water bodies like we are doing now, what would have happened to civilization in this world? So the idea is that everything that we are enjoying as a people, to do anything, must be maintained to meet the next generation.
So sustainability is meeting our needs now.
So yes, so now sustainable development that we are hiding sustainable in. Is that we should develop now to ensure that our children's children also enjoy the same resources that we have maintained to meet their own development.
Why is it very important that now, as a country and as a people, we need to have these conversations and we need to entrench sustainability in our everyday conversations?
Thank you once again. If, again, the SDGs as we have them now evolved from the MDGs to the SDGs. And that's the framework, the blueprint set by the United Nations to dictate development. And if you follow the history, the word sustainability began, attracted attention from 17 something, when within the area of forestry, when they realized that people were harvesting, it's happening now, People were harvesting forest resources beyond, over and above the natural rate of regeneration. So the watchword is that if you cannot replace, don't touch it.
Okay.
You see, so the key statement is that we should not harvest trees beyond the natural rate of recovery of the forest. So now it's very important for us. We know what is about us, and based on that, anytime I listen to news, anybody talking about Almighty Galamsey, and what we say is that they are degrading our forest and then polluting our water bodies. If we get to know the details of that degradation, that denudation, and then that impact on the water bodies, we will not sleep until we end it. Look, let's do the water bodies. These water bodies have what we call auto remediation processes with them. And don't forget that it's not just water, but it's an ecosystem on itself, where you have life or living and non-living things interacting to keep that ecosystem running. The remediation issue is about, naturally, if you find a water body where you don't even have people around it, and let's say it's within the forest, you have leaves and tree barks and things falling into it. That water has the ability to negate any impact on the quality of this. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But the issue is that in this case, we are, and don't forget, the examples that I've just given are all natural examples. So they will degrade, they will, in quotes, rot, and then everything in them will be put to use to pack into that system within that ecosystem. But then here, with people around, what are we doing? We are sort of stressing that remediation process, that machine. What are we doing? We are adding not just natural products, but other products that will take time to be degraded, if they will ever be degraded, into that system. And we are doing it, we are putting this at a certain level which that natural system cannot degrade it. So we are more or less crashing that machine in there.
So if I get what you're saying, God created the natural system such that it has its own auto repair function.
Exactly.
So anything that goes in, the natural system is able to
Take care
repair
of it,
itself,
yes,
and restore itself to the right state.
Yes.
But our activities are putting in so many
Stressing that's
stressful materials within the system,
exactly,
such that the natural system is unable to recover as much as it needs to recover. Exactly. And you are using Galamsey as an example.
Exactly.
So that's why we need to find something like Galamsey.
Exactly. Probably, let me use, if it's not the water body, there is the forest.
Okay.
I always ask my class, who knows where the next drug for prostate cancer will come from? And don't forget that these drugs were manufactured mimicking natural products.
Yeah.
And that forest ecosystem that we see, that forest system that we see there, is very complex. So again, God created the forest ecosystem to maintain itself. Don't forget, if you go to the forest and you find a tree that have been felled, just look around it. You see, you see saplings emerging. Where were those saplings when the trees, in the presence of the tree? So there's this even mechanism that to eliminate or to reduce competition, that tree even suppressed its own offsprings from sprouting. And also what it did was to cut off light for everything down there to start enjoying life. They are not dead, they are dormant. So once that tree goes off, then they start getting light rain gets to them
and they start germinating.
As they start germinating. So this is the kind of system that I'm talking about. So when you stand somewhere to see, and again, Winston, let me ask you, how old was that tree that was felled? How many minutes did it take to be brought down? You see it.
Yeah.
So when I see grader or the excavators moving, sometimes it's sad. Cocoa trees, all other trees, and don't forget that system has other plants, climbers. We even have what we call lichens. I'll teach you what lichens are on the back of the trees.
Yeah.
You see some colored, some exactly. These are very sensitive. Not just one organism. They are a composite organism made up of a lichen, a fungi, and an algae. They are supporting themselves, but these also serve as the indicators of some level of pollution. So the forest that is being brought down is so complex, and so many complex interactions are taking place within it to maintain itself. So it's not just about and especially with forest reserves. These have been maintained over a period of time, and it does so many things. If I want to just start with one example, we are talking about climate change. Climate change has to do with greenhouse gases, 70% of which is carbon dioxide. And so if we want to stop or cut down climate impact, all we need to do is find space for the absorption of the carbon dioxide, especially,
And that would be the forest.
exactly. Unfortunately fortunately for us, the food that we eat starts with carbohydrate formation. Carbohydrate formation is the carbo is carbon dioxide. So if we can maintain trees everywhere, we will not have greenhouse effects to the level that we are experiencing now. So if somebody knew this from basics, will the person encourage? That's my question. Will the person encourage actual denuding, bringing down forests in search of some other resources? That's my take.
This is the Super Morning Show. This is the Joy Sustainability. We're talking to Dr. Ted Ni Yemoh Annang. He is a lecturer at the Institute for Environment and Sanitation Studies at the University of Ghana. And this is the first of many conversations we are going to have. And today we are trying to understand what sustainability is. And what Doc is trying to do is also to break it down to make it relatable. So he's talked about Galamsey, he's talked about our forest systems and how they are home to our medicine, home to food, home to capturing greenhouse
Water
gases,
itself.
and home to water. Most of them are the sources of water and the watersheds for us. And so this is the conversation we're having on the show. Later this morning, we have a launch of the Fidelity Bank Sustainability Month also here on the Super Morning Show. Now, Doc, we know there are some pillars for sustainability, pillars around which sustainability conversations, planning revolve. Can you share the pillars with us?
Okay. There are 3 pillars of sustainability. And these are described as the economic pillar, the environmental pillar, and the social pillar. But don't forget that we are saying that sustainability is maintaining wise use of resources.
Okay.
So economically, if you want to be sustainable, what do you do? Wise use of resources. And in fact, it's just telling you that there should not be any waste from production to across the production process to even SDG 11 talks about responsible.
That should be SDG 12.
12
Responsible
12
resources.
So if you are responsible, and sustainability is responsibility, so that responsibility in resource use, use resource wisely. So fine, no matter your economic targets, just ensure that you in effect to maintain production. That's the economic issue. To maintain production, what do you put in? Raw material.
Yeah.
And get your final products out. So sustainability is telling us that your raw materials must be acquired without unduly stressing the source. I'll come to that. Yes. And then along the process, there should be just wise use of all the resources. Till come to the end, ensure that you don't generate waste.
So you mentioned the economy, environment.
So I'm coming to the environment,
and then people.
Yes.
So 3 pillars.
Yes.
The economic pillar is such that whatever economic activity you are doing, you must do it responsibly.
Exactly.
And
with resource conservation in mind.
Conservation in mind.
Yes.
Without impacting the environment negatively.
Exactly.
That is the economic pillar.
Okay.
Give us the rest.
I've used the water body issue and the forest body issue, the forest issue, to explain the environmental.
Yeah.
Where do all our resources, what we call natural resources, where do they come from? From the environment.
Yeah.
And these are products of environmental or interactions within what we call the environment. They are products of interactions. And it means that interactions are between entities within the environment. And basically, basic ecology will tell you the interactions between living and non-living things. You know my favorite example, mango. How is mango produced?
So you plant it.
Yes. So when you plant it, when does it? What do you see before it starts fruiting? The flowers are produced first.
Yeah.
And after that, it brings with it some flies, butterflies and things, other dipterans. Let me exercise my basic zoology. What do? They effect fertilization, because there must be fertilization between the male portion of the flower and the female portion, so that once then the fruits start. Meanwhile, there's first the flower must be pollinated.
Yeah.
Again, you have some living entities affecting the pollination. So it's after pollination, then fertilization. Even wind has the ability to affect pollination. So look at this myriad, this network, then your mango is produced. Sometimes you see the mango, the fruits dropping at a certain maturity stages. And I told somebody that it's called abortion. These fruits are aborted before reaching maturity because something might have happened. And I use that example to indicate, to tell us how intricate, how delicate that interaction is. So it means that if something happens and a member of that network is prevented from carrying out
its function,
then it means there will be no mango.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And also, not just I mentioned delicate, not just being prevented, but probably it's doing its work all right. Somewhere along the line, just before it gets to the end, something happens. I can give you another example. You know, previously we used to have plenty adodi area, in the Volta system.
Yeah.
But they will tell you that the production declined when the dams were constructed and opened.
Okay.
Previously, the river was unimpeded and was enjoying the natural flow regime and then salinity regime, because it's linked with the. And where do you get the adodi from? From the communities within a certain distance from the sea. So the mixing of the saline water and the fresh water creates a certain delicate salinity balance that then gets the adodi to proliferate, to give birth. But the dam affected the flow regime and also affected that salinity
So every action we take affects a certain ecosystem and certain activities that may impact us positively or negatively. So our decisions, if you are making economic decisions, we should look at its impact on the environment.
But then there's always that, because of this, there's always a conflict between the economic and the environmental. Because in the economic production, there's no limits. So long as you provide your raw materials, and that's the reason why you set up a factory and give it has a production capacity up to. It means that you can only get to that capacity when you have a certain volume of raw materials and electricity, water, everything at their optimum. But in this case, from what you just explained, with the environment, there are limits to production. There are limits to everything that happens there, because this is linked with the rate of production. So it has its rates, the volumes of anything that can be produced within a certain time frame. So we're going for with that limit, with that limitation, the economic sustainability will not depend on that resource base to achieve.
So Doc, in this regard, let me go back to your first example, gold, for example. We should be able to sit down as a nation and draw a model where we say our forests and water bodies recharge at this rate. So if you are going to mine gold in this area, this is the strategy, this is the quantity we can mine at any point to enable the forest to regrow, and then the water bodies to also recharge. In that case, we are not just extracting gold, but we are extracting gold with the environment in mind.
That's what we should be doing.
Give us the final pillar before we go for a break, and
that's the social pillar.
The social pillar
just,
which is
just talks about people, about equity. Everybody must be treated equally. Access to everything must be shared, must be equal. So you don't, in some situations we talk about marginalized. Why are they marginalized? Your clout in society or whatever that you possess in society, you are still part of the people. So that is what the social sustainability talk about. So that any resource that is generated must be shared equally, must be equal assessment, give people equal voices, equal participation, equal involvement. So basically that one.
So in our national development agenda, for example, if Minister Atuforsen is preparing his budget, he needs to look at how each ministry is equitably distributing national development and the national cake to all the corners of the country. It shouldn't be that all infrastructure is concentrated down south or in the middle belt. But whatever we are distributing across the country should be equitable. So when I go to Hamile, I should get the same quality of health as I'll get in Kumasi or in Accra. When I go to Pumakong, I should get the same quality of education like I get in Takrade and Sunyani.
We still did a bit of geography and economics. That's partly the reason why we only think that people troop or relocate from some areas to certain areas because of economic activities. If I'm there and I don't get the quality of health delivery that and I have the means, wouldn't I move? And that alone would inform my movement. You see, and don't tell me that because Saturday I was watching that documentary on the Chips compound without water and things. And you know, we walk a lot. You get to places, I tell people that sometimes I move out going to do my EIA or something, and when I get back to Accra, I don't listen to radio.
EIA is environmental impact assessment. You are using the terms, you have to break them.
You see, I don't listen because...
Why don't you listen to radio when you come back?
When you get there, you see the realities of what is on the ground. And it's entirely different. That picture is entirely different for what when I come back, what I hear. So it's about social sustainability.
And equity.
Exactly.
This is the Joy Sustainability Month. Today is the first conversation, and our guest is Dr. Tedni Yemoh Annang. He taught me sustainability
and environmental impact
assessment at the University of Ghana, and he's breaking down what sustainability is. So far, we know that sustainability basically means maintaining the balance right? Maintaining the balance and maintaining the harmony, and
wise use of resources.
Yes, and sustainable development is taking care of our needs now without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. And you've also run us through the 3 pillars: economic, environment, social, or people, profits, planet.
Exactly.
PPP,
yes.
People, Profit,
and
Planet. Yes. We'll go for a quick break. When we return, I want you to explain what the SDGs are, and if you can quickly take us through the 17 SDGs and how we can apply them to national development. It is Dr. Ted Annang. He studied a lot of people in the environment, sustainability space, botany, zoology. How long have you been teaching, Doc?
28 years or something.
28 years. All at the University of Ghana?
Yes, from 1994.
Okay.
That's the official date, but I've local government institutions, but mainly the University of Ghana.
Mainly the University of Ghana, undergraduate and postgraduate students.
Yeah, the undergraduate was just, I think, short-lived, about 5 years in botany department before I moved into IESS, and then.
And you've trained over like thousands of students. Anyway, we are talking about sustainability, and earlier Doc explained what sustainability is, sustainable development, and also took us through the pillars of sustainability. I like the fact that he gave us a bit of history on taking us to 1713 with the German miner Karl von Karlowitz, who said that you cannot, if you're extracting any material from the earth, extract it at a rate at which the planet can automatically renew itself. And that was one of the reasonings that has gotten us here, all the way to all sorts of goals. I remember we had the MDGs, and now we have SDGs. Tell me about the global policy driving sustainability and how we got here.
Okay. Could you, just before we went for the break, there was an issue about mining that just let me make one statement.
Okay.
I tried to, we use the word responsible mining, but I tried to find out the meaning. What is responsible mining? What you just narrated, to me, should be responsible mining. That let's interfere with what nature, or with nature at its own pace. That shouldn't be that. Well, we are looking for money, we are looking for gold, so we should chase the metal everywhere it is without thinking about the repercussions. And please, we don't breathe gold, we don't eat gold,
we don't wear gold,
So
when you are sick, you don't take golden tablets.
Exactly. So we should actually give meaning to responsible mining. And to some of us, we feel sad the way that menace is being handled, coming to terms about the environmental implications. And sustainability is telling us, giving us that meaning about this existential threat. Because if we destroy the environment now, how long? I just give you the instance about how long the tree that you fell in 30 minutes, how long has it been there?
Yeah,
exactly. So even if we are talking about decommissioning and reclaiming land, don't forget that land is part of the natural system that can come back to that's what the original purpose. It will never get there. That can get as closely as to the original state in how many years?
Hundreds of years.
Exactly. Okay. So now bear that in mind. Those development goals were agreed upon by nations to dictate the developmental agenda. Don't forget, every mouth that is produced, every body that is produced must be fed, must be clothed, must be sheltered. All these require resources coming from the environment. And if you look at it gets to a point. We don't have time. We'll find the time to look at the various eras.
Doc, we have the whole month to discuss sustainability.
Exactly.
This is an opening conversation.
Exactly.
We'll get into the climate
Yes.
change, we'll get into housing, agric,
if
and
you
everything.
look at the various eras that took place with satisfaction of human. Which word is coming?
Human needs.
Exactly. Thank you for that. So sustainability also dictates what we should describe as wants and needs. So sustainability involves the satisfaction of needs and not wants.
Okay.
So these
sustainability involves the satisfaction of
needs
and not wants.
Not wants. Because
that will be the principle of sufficiency.
I agree with
where
you.
less is more.
You see, no, the idea is that the women claim that if you buy a cloth and you don't yes, no, I'm not being, I'm rather utilizing the effort.
Yes.
If you buy the cloth and you don't use it for 2 years, it means you don't need it.
Yeah.
Which sometimes after 5 years you realize that no, I bought this kente here, so let me go back for it.
Yeah.
The one who created us instilled that sense of greed and selfishness into us, and that informed the word want. If you want, what do you want? I want the whole of this room, everything in this room. That do you need them? Okay, so coming back to this developmental issues, realize that in a bid to satisfy our wants, we want everything. So that drove development, and realized that development was being carried out at the expense of environmental resources. So why don't you tell ourselves that, look, we can develop, but not at the expense of the environment. So that, the Millennium Development Goals were then initiated, just 7 of them.
Yeah.
That took into consideration issues relating to poverty eradication, whether all these tenets were to address most of the pressing challenges facing humankind, and it's about development. These 7 were supposed to drive that agenda from that point until 2015, we realized that no, it's not working. But I don't know whether you are aware that the MDGs were set for the developing world. The other side were excluded.
Okay.
Exactly. So the United Nations again, the environmental program, spearheaded the change from the Millennium Development Goals to Sustainable Development Goals, and were increased to 17.
So from about 8 MDGs, we now have 17 SDGs.
Yes.
We'll come back to you to break them down for us, Doc. But we are doing this with Fidelity Bank in the month of sustainability. And the reason why we are working with an institution like Fidelity Bank is that we want to bring corporate Ghana along. We want to bring the whole nation along as we talk sustainability. You may say Fidelity is a bank. Why do they have to talk sustainability around things to do with the environment, sustainable resource use and everything? But we realize that the banks play a key role in global development. Without them, development will stall. So we are going to cross over to Fidelity, their head office, to pick live the launch of the Sustainability Month. When we come back, we'll let you break down the 17 SDGs for us before we wrap up our conversation today on the show. And the theme for Sustainability Month for Fidelity is sustaining our world, collaborating for a greener future, aligning finance with climate action, a path to sustainable development. And this conversation is coming up shortly. So stay with us. We'll be right back in the studio to continue the conversation and bring you the SDGs. Dr. Annang is here. And what we are going to do within the next 5 minutes is to run you through the 17 SDGs. As we said, this whole month is for sustainability, so we'll be talking about sustainability and the conversations will revolve around these SDGs. So, Doc, we are back in the studio, and you mentioned the MDGs and how they were largely made for the developing world. But the SDGs, which are the Sustainable Development Goals, are now more like the constitution that runs the
development
world.
Agenda.
The development agenda across the globe. So let's go through the SDGs.
Okay.
SDG 1.
No poverty in all forms.
No poverty in all forms.
Okay, go to number 2.
I should go to number 2.
Yes.
Doc, you are bringing the classroom to the studio. I remember those times in school. You'd come and you just point at you. What is SDG 12? So SDG 1 is no poverty in all forms, and the target is to end extreme poverty by 2030.
Exactly, in all forms.
In all forms, and SDG 2 is zero hunger.
Yes.
Zero hunger is to end hunger and all forms of malnutrition, double agri productivity, ensure sustainable food production. This morning, we read a story in the Daily Graphic, 2018 National Best Farmer, saying that we need agri is at risk. The future of agri in Ghana is at risk because of the fact that we don't have coherent policy, political interference, and all that. And
is that the only one?
1 million Ghanaians were not food secure, and a lot of Ghanaians below the age of 5 were also facing malnutrition. So SDG 2 actually addresses that.
Okay, so SDG 3 is good health
and well-being. Good health and well-being.
4 is quality education. 5 is gender equality. And then 6 is clean water and sanitation.
This morning, somebody sent us a message that their neighborhood, Nanakrum, they are not getting water. 2 weeks ago, we had a big conversation of Ghana Water Company customers in Sakumono and a lot of areas also not getting water. So clean water.
But let me just pause and tell you that number 1 and number 6, because the no poverty is in all forms.
Yeah.
And it specifically mentions food, access to food, water, sanitation, and such issues. So that's one of the beauty about the SDGs.
Yeah.
They are supposed to be interlinked. So let's go ahead.
So 7 is affordable and clean energy.
Good.
And the last week of this month, we'll be talking a lot about affordable and clean energy.
Okay.
And 8 is decent work and economic growth.
Okay.
9 is industry, innovation and infrastructure. Including big push.
Exactly. Can I say anything about
yes.
Already the 24-hour agenda, I won't finish. Somebody mentioned somewhere that he has not seen anything related to waste
in the 24-hour
economy.
Interesting. I'll look at the document again and see.
So
10 is reduced inequalities.
11 sustainable cities and communities. And again, this has a serious issue on urban planning.
Yes. So this week we have a conversation on urban planning and how we can make our cities work for us. That conversation will be led by the president of the Ghana Institution of Architects, Tony Asari.
Okay.
He'll be in the studios to have that conversation.
And then the one that you just taught me.
Responsible consumption and production.
And then let me just add, I just wanted to add, based on the discussion from Fidelity Bank. This gentleman is
Gideon Denjo.
Gideon. Sorry. What Gideon is doing is giving life to waste. So whatever we do in the green economy is that there's no waste. But no matter what you do, waste is a human phenomenon. So anywhere there's human, there will be waste. But and waste is waste. It's destined to be discarded. But what we are doing here is that with the 12 is that we are extending the life of the material you are calling waste. So it gives it an extended shelf life.
So waste becomes a raw material for another process.
Exactly. And that is nature's way. And I always say that we are facing these challenges because we are moving away from nature's way. If you go into the forest, there's no waste because all the waste materials become resource and raw material.
If you get a coconut, for example, you eat the meat, drink the water, the hard shell can be used for briquettes or some other things. The soft fiber can be used for all sorts of things, even clothing. So we should not discard it as waste, but we should use it as material.
Anything that you call waste has its attributes. The final one is to be disposed of.
Okay,
go ahead.
Let's go to SDG 13, which is climate action. Which is a conversation we want to have with you again on climate change and its impact on national development.
And again, then I've mentioned that climate issues have to do with waste. Number 1. the degradable portion will contribute, and it will contribute. It also linked to deforestation and whatever. So,
and number 14 is life below water.
Life below water. What are we talking about? This morning I was just thinking
about seas.
What are we doing to them now?
We are polluting them. So the Kole Lagoon, which you guys used to swim in when you were young,
yes,
the one around Labadi,
Kweshi Lagoon,
the Kweshi
my
Lagoon,
hometown.
Now we cannot swim in them.
No, it's not even available.
Yes, you cannot even breathe around them.
Yes.
Okay. And then 15 is life on land. 16 is peace, justice, and strong institution. And 17 is partnerships for the goals. It's been great talking to you, Doc, this morning, for explaining what sustainability is, taking us through the history, giving us real life examples and the SDGs. Any final words before we wrap up for today?
Yes, my final word is that the 17 SDGs have been arranged in a way to provide an understanding of whatever we need to do towards our journey towards development, and then to each is related to the other. So it just tells us how we have that collective responsibility to address or to prepare us for an inclusive future for all. So we'll get to the, and let me also remind everybody that these are the goals. All these goals have targets, and these targets have indicators that are the activities that will be carried out to help achieve the target and therefore achieve the goals.
So we have a lot of work to
exactly
do.
So we need to end. One of my, whilst I'm commending Joy FM again for taking this initiative, from the onset I said that this could be a subject from class 1 to whatever.
So we should teach sustainability from the basic level all the way to the top.
Exactly. And my final word is that we should try to, I know Winston speaks lots of languages, to localize the SDGs in terms of translation into our various local languages so
that it can be absorbed by our children and made practical.
Exactly. And then in the last one about this local knowledge and we'll call it the traditional knowledge and then the innovation. Our people have lived within the environment, a harmonized environment for a long time, and they are aware of when the rain will set in, when through some of these indicators.
So we should learn from them.
So and then try and pursue nature-based solutions. Thank you
so much, Doc. Winston, a lot to unpack.
Yeah.